body. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was asked to do it. Everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. I want you to shout this as young boys from Kiagodo. Shout this. I'll be that somebody. Shout harder for our parents to know that I will be that somebody. When you are at home, your parent has gone to visit, your auntie has gone to Sharks, those who are in Nairobi, you are left at home, you are in Sharks, your parent has gone to visit your uncle in town, you are left home, you have to be that somebody who is responsible, because responsibility starts there. The last one, you need to see opportunities and stop complaining. I'm not teaching you things about Kiagodo, even out there. There was a shoe company back then, a British one, that sent 2 people to Africa to look for the market of selling shoes. They sent 2 people in their sales department. Wakuje Africa, waangalie market ya kuuza viatu. One of them akapeleka ripoti. Akasema, there is no potential there. Nobody wears shoes. 2 people. One has already taken the report. Amekuja Africa, hiyo wakati ya mababu zetu, hakukuwa na viatu. One took back the report. There is no market there. People there don't wear shoes. The second salesman reported back and said, there is massive potential there. Nobody wears shoes. One got people not wearing shoes and took the report using the same analogy. Nobody wears shoes. One saw the opportunity, the other one saw lack of opportunity. You must be that person who sees opportunity. As I go to the finish, listen to this. Once there was an older man who was broke, living in a tiny house and owning a beat-up car. He was living off social security checks. In the US, when you don't have a job, the government supports you with some little money for your basics. That one was 65 years of age. His home was called Kentucky. And he left Kentucky and traveled to different states to sell a recipe. He had come up with a recipe. Recipe ni kama, which other name can you give it, boys, young men? Recipe ile, kama unapika, you understand. So you understand? With a recipe, and he went around selling it. He went to restaurant owners and told them, I have a mouth-watering recipe of making a chicken. Ukitengeneza hii chicken, it will be mouth-watering. He visited many restaurants. He offered the recipe to them for free, just to test. Just asking for a small percentage after they sell. Unfortunately, most of the restaurants turned him down and said no. He had visited over 1,000 restaurants selling his recipe. Even after all those rejections, he didn't give up. He got rejected precisely 1,009 times before he had his first yes. And that first yes, one of the food joints we know called KFC was born. And now it is worth over 151 billion US dollars. Young men, you have been trying that math, that physics. I want to ask you, in you pushing your grade from C to B plus and then to A, have you failed over 1,009 times? You are not yet there. So all of us here, however the handicaps you have faced in the past, whatever the conditions of our parents, whatever the situations of our current grades, we are all here as A materials. There is no one who joins Tiagodo National School. There is no one who joins any national school in Kenya who is not an A material. And therefore my request Form 4 is this. That 8.6, all of you know here today, you have the ability, the capacity to get A's, all of you. Wacha serikali ikuwe shida yao ya kuwatafutia universities kwa sababu nyinyi wote muko na A's. And when you get those A's, I can assure you, help will come on the way of your parents. Hata wale hawataweza kuwapeleka kufanya engineering, kama hiyo tulisikia aeronautical. In Kikuyu we say, mwana mugi dagaga mudhabia. You just do your bit. When you do your bit, everything else corresponds to push you to achieve those heights. I thank you all. But before I sit, huwa sikuji Kiharu sana sana na suti. Leo nimeng'ara, hata sijui kama mnaona hivyo ama ni mimi tu naona. Huwa sivai sana sana tai nikikuja kazi. But because today we are going to parliament, nikaona nitoke hapa kama nimeenda. And I say so because all of us as leaders, as parents, we have found it very, very disappointing that the free basic education that came in Kenya during the reign of President MYKE is now being annihilated by those who are in power now. And I want to address them specifically as an MP for Kiharu. Education is the equalizer for all the households in Kenya. It is education ambayo Mungu ametumia that wengi wetu hata mimi nikiwa mbele yenu tumefika kwenye tuko. And we cannot allow that advantage we had to be discarded by those who do not know its worth. Free basic education is a right for every school-going child in Kenya. It is not a privilege from any benefactor. It is a right. And it is education that polishes human capital, adds value to human beings and labor force, and helps the economies to grow. Indeed, even in many economic models, because that is my background, education and accumulation of knowledge is one of the factors that catapult economies forward. And therefore, for no avoidance of doubt, we are not going to allow anyone to play around with free basic education. It is appalling to see people in the same government giving different conflicting statements around the same subject. Even if you wanted to lie to Kenyans, you would have called for a meeting to harmonize the lie. So that when you come out, give Kenyans the proper picture. We hear the minister for this talking about this, the minister for the other differently, the other minister for the other differently. You need to give Kenyans hope and a cohesive messaging. And what we are asking is this: 22,000 as capitation is not a figure that came from the air and fell in schools. It was out of analysis done on the issues that capitation supports in a school. And therefore, we must not be discussing about whether to go down from 22,000. The discussion should be, since when 22,000 came about as capitation, there has been inflation. We should be talking about increasing capitation from 22,000 upwards. Capitation for primary schools is the same figure that President MYKE was giving decades ago. Yet there has been inflation. There has been changes in pricing. The discussion in the country should not be about whether to do away with it. It should be about how much money are we adding to capitation in primary schools, in JS and senior secondary schools. And I want to request those who are in power now, when you are in government, you do not promise, you do. When you have authority from Kenyans, your work is to do. Your work is to say, we are going to do. Because I saw now, after realizing the Kenyan parents are very angry, now the government is trying to come and absolve themselves. And they're saying they support free basic education. Then what you are telling you is this: don't tell us, just set the money. And at it, ile pesa abayo, most of these principles, let me tell you parents, they run these schools like insurance companies. Ile unachukua policy ya huyu, unalipa yule. Majority of the schools in Kenya, and I'm saying so because I have interacted with many principals, and especially because of Kiharo Masomo Bora, have many debts owing to unremitted capitation that the government has not sent to the schools for the last several periods. Tunawauliza kwa heshima, shule zimeweka budget yao wakitumia 22,000. Tafadhali, even the arrears that are there, pay the schools so that the schools can pay the suppliers. Principals wetu waacha kujificha wakitoka shule. Na ya mwisho, when I'm here, I'm talking about President Kibaki's time, because it is the government, the executive, that shapes policy. You know, now I have seen now the usual circus of blame games. Oh, it's this, it's that, it's the other. When we talk about free basic education, we talk about the government then. So the government cannot shift the blame to any other institution. It is the government that shapes policy. It is the government that does allocations. Practically speaking, I have been there, I know. When the budgets are made, Parliament is only a conveyor belt. The buck stops with the executive. Please, reorganize your budget. Remove money from those areas. Many. Remove areas from those many areas, including endless renovations, including confidential funds. Remove the money for political management, like the one we are seeing people spending every weekend. Direct that money to capitation of support of our education. And please don't shift blame. Just do what is right because you know what is right. Just put money there. Kenyans are not interested in blame games, in shenanigans. Kenyans are just interested in the children of Kenya getting quality education. na maundu ma ndrauga gwetio na gikuyu hanini maundu ma githomo kia buri tutigwitikira mundu ona umwe athake na githomo giki ni tondu micii miingi ciana ikinyete haria iri nginya nie ndugamite mbere yanyu ni Ngai guturathima ahetukire githomo-ini na ni wega ciana cia Kenya iheo kanya kau ka mundu guthie githomo athome ni tondu ndungimenya mwana agatuika ki utambite kumuhe kanya ga guthoma. Namba 2, thirikari na aria me thirikari mamenye andu mena guku nja no mauge matanya moria mangienda kuhanike. Wira wa thirikari ti matanya, wira wa thirikari ni kuhingia. Ko mutigatira mugitwira matanya turatanya gwika uu githomo kia buri tumai mbeca mathukuru-ini na tigutuma mbeca tu, mutume mbeca iria ciagiriire iria cie circular-ini ciringi 22 hari mwana wothe we senior secondary school na mathire maria mangi mothe mutatumite gutire. There is no vacuum in financial management. Thirikari mbeca iria mutatumite ni wega mamenye principles ni suppliers matarihite. Tikuga ni harambe ciikitwo kuri andu matari arihe. Koguo ona arrears kana mathire maria thirikari itatumite ni wega etume niguo mathukuru mwaitu marani uria kwagiriire. Na ma mwisho ni tutige riu maundu maya ma blame games. Riria tukwaria uhoro wa thirikari irutite wira turagia uhoro wa thirikari etagwo executive. Na executive neo imenyaga uria budget ya bururi iguikara na kuria mbeca cia bururi igutwarwo. Tondu gutuagwo thirikari neo yorurire igitia kura ikiheana policies. Na koguo gwenda kuria aria mariho tigai gutinda mugicuniria aya kana aya, mara ni mbunge mara ni judiciary me hakure ukinya kwanjia gutwira ni undu wa riera. Mundu aheo kanya ga gutungata tiga blame games. Allocate pesa githomo-ini na gutire mundu gukorwo akiaririria topic iyo. Andu mararia ni tondu thukuru ciena mathire, then minister uyu ni okauga gutire githomo kia buri, ungi ugi ni auga ata tigwa raugite, uyu ungi naki ni auga gikuo. Tutikwenda kumenya uguo mukugai, tukwenda atiriri by ciana ikihingura after this holiday arrears iria ciekuo na capitation ya 2022 mutume mathukuru-ini maitu niguo marani wega. Na hayo mengi, Mwenyezi Mungu awabariki. Peterson Thuo kuja. Peterson Thuo president. Si mnaona hata hate iko sawa? Aliniambia kwa ni Lang'ata. Nataka nimpe souvenir kwa sababu huyu ataenda mbali. Souvenir, sikupei pesa, nakupea souvenir. Hiyo unajua ni gani eh? Hebu waambie ni gani? $100. Ni kama pesa ngapi hiyo Kenya?
13,000.
Hiyo, asante sana. Kuja bado. Nataka hawa young men wakirudi after holiday, mwalimu waongeze afanye kakitu wakule mzuri. Sawa? Yeah? Oh, system. System ya entertainment. Sasa kwa sababu sitaki kupromise kitu alafu niende, wacha niache, nyinyi mtajipanga vile itatosha, au sio? So nitaachia huyu, mtaongeza ya system 100,000. Asanteni sana, and to all the Form 4s and all the other students, as the MP for Kiharu where Kiagodo is, I wish you God's blessings. And I pray that all the dreams and visions that